when you do have stuff like that, you come out with a 2-0 win against Brentford, like Arsenal's win last night. That was far from your easiest game. Even with like Igor Thiago out, I think you made a couple changes. Mosquera coming off in the first half with a possible injury. But it was a nervy. Obviously, you scored the opening goal, but I don't know how you felt. But when I was watching the game, obviously not as an Arsenal fan, but just like taking in the game, it felt like at any given moment Brentford could do something. But at the end of the day, you had the players to get over the line, get that second goal at the end of the match, even with Declan Rice out, and it just chilled everything out. And you were able to, maybe a couple of years ago, that game might end up being 2-1 Brentford or 1-1. Like, that's the kind of game that would cost you the title a couple of years back.
Because I thought we started pretty well. We scored after 10 minutes, and then you think, okay, we're going to go on and kick on here and put it to bed. We did have a few chances. We could have pretty much put to bed the game at half-time. We didn't take our chances. And then you guys, you know what it's like, Alex. And you know what it's like, Dylan. If your team's in the ascendancy, creating chances, you don't take them. There's always the worry, especially when you've only scored one, that all that team has to do is go down the other end and get slightly fortunate. You make a mistake, whatever, and they equalise. You think, how did we not beat this team? So it was a little nervy, but I've got to say, I mean, Brentford didn't have a shot on target. I don't know if you know that. So it wasn't like
fair
they
enough.
were...
But regardless, it felt like...
Yeah, it was nervy because...
Yeah, because it's only 1-0 in the 90th minute. Any teams that in the game, no matter if they've had a shot on target up to 95 minutes, it's only 1-0. Nick a little corner and
you know that Brentford are pretty
game.
astute from set pieces, in particular long throws. All it takes is one of those coyote long throws. Put that in the mixer, someone's not quite on their job, the ball falls to a Brentford player, bang, 1-1. So... yeah, it was a little nervy, but I've got to say, having watched the game, Arsenal were pretty much in, I wouldn't say complete control, but 2-0, put it this way, 2-0 certainly did not flatter Arsenal.
Yeah, it's just because the way I look at this game, the point I'm trying to make is that is the kind of game 2 years ago that I don't think you get. You might score first in that game, but that's the kind of game 2 years ago with a lot of the same players on the pitch. Obviously, you haven't made major changes. You kind of like filled out around your starting 11 that you've had for the most part for the past couple of years, or the spine that you've had. That's the kind of game a few years ago that I don't think you win. But you have the experience and you have the ability now to get over the line, even with Gabriel out and Saliba out. You've got Declan Rice, you've got Saka coming off the bench, you've got I would say even Eze, I'd say, is a pretty experienced player. He's 26 now, having played in the Premier League for 4 or 5 years. Even without some of your other key players, you have the others, Mikel Merino as well, to guide you to that win, which is what Chelsea don't have.
I can't speak highly of him enough. I said on the show on Monday, to go and win a title, I'm not saying specifically Mikel Merino, but what I'm saying is if you're going for a title in the Premier League, every squad that is going for the title in the Premier League needs a Mikel Merino in their squad. I'm not saying it's him, but you need someone like him. Liverpool won the title with James Milner, and I'm not comparing them directly, but that role of put me where you need me, boss. I'll do a good job wherever you need me. No complaints, no grievances about not playing in his natural position. I mean, he's got a striker's instinct for a midfielder that has played in defence before. How does that even compute? He is,
above all, the guy's just a damn good footballer.
He's a great footballer, but above all, it's his attitude. And every league-winning team needs a Mikel Merino in it.
I completely agree. I remember when we did the UCL goals show, I had John and Clinton on to do the show, and I don't know why we ended up talking about Darren Fletcher, but we did. And the two of them were banging on about Darren Fletcher being like, Darren. I was like, players like Darren Fletcher have got to get their flowers to being like squad players who can step up when needed and be able to fill in once your Michael Carrick or Paul Scholes can't play. Maybe they're suspended or injured or something. And the two of them were going on like Darren Fletcher doesn't get any damn credit. He doesn't need any credit. What did he do? But Mikel Merino is in that category. I say maybe possibly above the category. Obviously, Darren Fletcher was a fantastic. Obviously, he's won like 6-7 Premier League titles. Like, he's technically one of the most successful Premier League midfielders of the modern era. Yeah. But Mikel Merino is exactly like that. Like Jack was telling me before we went live, there was a point where Borussia Dortmund were fielding Mikel Merino in a back three alongside Emre Can.
Saw it.
He was playing as a DM when he joined Arsenal, and even like earlier this year, he was playing as a defensive box-to-box midfielder. Now, on form, he's just one of the best strikers in the league.
Yeah, no, you know what that. Like
beyond, like you said,
there's two things. He's a very talented footballer, and number two, which is very understated with him. Obviously, he works hard, but he plays a lot of the football in his head. So he's a very, what I call, cerebral footballer. And you saw that yesterday with the way he took that first goal, the technique where he just heads it into the ground, giving the goalkeeper no chance. Our second goal, the slide rule pass through to Saka for the assist. Those are big moments in games, and that's what he can give you. Because sometimes, I'll be honest with you, there's been games when you think, he's not really having much of an impact on the game. And then it will come out with a moment, a clutch moment. You think, wow, that is fair play. So I thought he was our man of the match yesterday. I know a lot of people voted for Ben White, but I said on the stream.
No, I agree. I agree with you, yeah. I think
the two big moments, he was involved in both of them.
It's his movement which I'm so surprised about, you know, in a good way. Like his movement, his ability to go straight into the box. It's
like an Alexander Isak at Newcastle finish.
Yeah,
you have no idea where it is, and then suddenly he's there.
Clean, bro. But the instinct to get and the pace, power to get ahead of your man, move him to the side. I mean, if Haaland does that, you're going, that's a great striker's finish. If Merino does it, you're almost hesitant. Not saying you. People are hesitant to give him as much credit as he should for that strike.
And he's been doing it for Spain as well.
He deserves it.
Bro, he's got 30 goals and assists in 2025.
Yeah, like 29, 30 goal involvements. From a player who, when you signed him for, was it 36 million pounds, everyone was like, why? This is why.
When you saw him doing that, the number 8 role he was being deployed as when he first started. Yeah. And I've got to admit, a lot of us at Arsenal were a bit underwhelmed. We were thinking, You know, we knew he was good for Spain in that role, and I've seen him play up top. Then Havertz get the injury, and then he goes up top, and he's like banging in goals. You're thinking, and then he's kept it going. It's not a fluke. Yeah, very good player. Very good footballer.
Great professional as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the exact kind of player, like I was saying, just like, oh no, I'm bringing this back to United again. I've been accused of that recently a little bit. Maybe it's because I'm feeling happy.
I must say, I've never noticed that.
Yeah. Well, you bring it along with Arsenal. You talk about Liverpool a lot. I obviously talk about United a lot. So together it works. Like Merino is like bringing, like so I said, but Darren Fletcher. Like Darren Fletcher was utterly incredible for us because he did the exact job he was bought to do and needed to do. And obviously now he's like on an under-18s manager and everything. And I really hope he has a great career. But Merino's the same. Almost like this probably wasn't the plan though, was it? The plan wasn't for Mikel Merino to do this. It was Kai Havertz was injured. You had no other strikers available, and it was okay. Merino's got a half decent finish on him, and he's never looked back. I class him. I don't know about you. I just class Merino as a striker now. Like, I know he's played everywhere on the pitch, but at this point, he's, 28, 29? I just see him as one of Arsenal's striker options who can play elsewhere rather than, like, auxiliary striker.
Sometimes you can find your position. But one of you guys referenced Joe Linton earlier, wasn't it? He started off life as a striker.
Yeah.
It didn't quite happen for him. Eddie Howe switches him to midfield, and wow.
Revelation.
Yeah, so these things do happen.
Yeah. I mean, Saka started off as a left-back.
Yeah, so did Bale.
So did Bale.
Yeah. So did McTominay was a DM. Although, actually, to be fair to McTominay, he played striker in our academy for 10 years. And then we just, for some reason, Mourinho just put him in defensive midfield. Yeah. So I think McTominay was getting back to where he's always should have been. Merino is just, he's collected enough skills to be an intelligent, clever, they mean the same thing, athletic, good, like very, very good footballer.
Miles Lewis Skelly was a midfielder converted to left back.
I still think
so well that he cracked the England squad. Yeah.
I still think Lewis Skelly will end up in midfield though.
Yeah,
I think he's destined.
Will it be for Arsenal though?
I don't know. Why wouldn't ask Arsenal fans?
Well, will he get the chance with how good?
Oh, what you suggest?
Rice, Zubimendi, and Co.
That is what I'm saying. If he wants to play in midfield, and Arteta goes, well, to be honest, we've got Zubimendi, Rice, and Eze or Odegaard. Like, there isn't really.
I think for the time being, he'll play where he's required.
But that's what I'm saying. If he wants to play midfield, would it be for Arsenal? Because I don't see him breaking into that 3.
I think he could.
Well, he's 19 now.
Yeah, exactly. He's
turning 20 in September.
At 19, 20, you've got to be playing every week.
No, you
really.
don't.
You do. I think
you don't have to be playing every week, but you've got to get enough chances to be able to develop as a player.
Exactly.
If you want to be one of the top greats of the league, then you need to be playing week in, week out at 19, 20. Look at Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes, Owen, Rooney. They were playing 200 games before they got to 20.
Well, could that be the question of if Lewis Skelly really wants to go play in midfield, should he be going on loan?
Yeah. Or just
I can't see him doing that. He loves Arsenal through and through. He's a
but he could go on loan and still love Arsenal. We've got Harry Amas, who's a left back. We sent off to Sheffield Wednesday. He's playing week in, week out now. Chido Obi's going on loan in January.
To sound disrespectful.
They're 18.
Arsenal at the moment, levels. United is different gravy.
No, but it doesn't matter what club you play for. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you need to play, as Alex said, as many minutes as possible, which could be Lewis Skelly going on loan to Fulham, right? Premier League experience, stays in London, and would Lewis Skelly therefore long term, if he then plays 25 games in all competitions for the rest of the season rather than the 9 starts he might get at Arsenal, then in 2 years' time, he could be twice the player he is and then come into the Arsenal side and become your starting number 8 or something.
I would suggest, in answer to that, is that Arsenal, in my humble opinion, are on the verge of something very special, because I think if Arsenal win the title this year, which I firmly believe that they will, I think that the confidence and momentum that they will pick up from that will mean that we will be winning trophies on a regular basis over the next 4 or 5 years. Miles Lewis Skelly, I'm assuming, will want to be part of that. I cannot see him wanting to go out.
It's not necessarily about not him wanting, it's whether they want him to be a midfielder. I understand Arsenal wouldn't want to get rid of the academy boy who loves the club, they love him, but we love you as a left back. Well, I want to play central midfield. Okay, well, you're not going to do it here, because we've got Rice, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Eze, Norgard, who are midfielders. You look at back in the day, David Beckham, Manchester United said, what a prospect this kid's going to be. Let's get him out on loan at Preston. And then he comes back and earns his stripes and gets back in the team that way. It's not about how much they love each other and how much...
No, I'm talking about where Arsenal are at the moment. You want to be part of that. They'd want to keep it.
He would want to be part of that.
You want to be part of that.
But in what capacity?
If he can't prove himself in midfield because he's busy trying to get over Declan Rice and Zubimendi, who he just will not start over in the key games, because Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in the world. Zubimendi is proving himself to be absolutely fantastic at Arsenal as well so far this season. Lewis Skelly just flat out is not starting. You think next season Lewis Skelly's benching either of them? No. So if Lewis Skelly wants to be a midfielder and wants to be part of Arsenal's midfield, he's not going to be able to do that if he's only ever getting games off the bench at left back, occasionally, maybe a midfield appearance in the FA Cup third round against Preston. For his own development, if he wants to be part of it long term, he needs to develop as much as he can right now. And he won't do that at Arsenal. He can stay and be a squad player, and maybe if Calafiori gets injured, cool, he gets in at left back. But he's not starting up with Calafiori or Rice or Zubimendi or anyone. So in the short term, potentially a 6-month loan to someone, let's say Fulham, or let's say Kamada, I don't know if he's got an injury at Crystal Palace, or maybe Wharton goes at Crystal Palace this summer, and then Lewis Skelly gets a year playing starting 35 Premier League games. He's then 20 or 21, comes back to Arsenal, and he's 10 times better than he would be right now in terms of experience and ability in the Premier League. Would it not be a sensible decision for him to be part of Arsenal long term?
But I can't see the momentum that Arsenal build in the moment, of which he is. Okay, he's not starting every week, but he's still an important part of what we're doing. I can't see him forsaking that, going out on loan to somewhere else. Not right now.
So you reckon he would stay at Arsenal and keep doing this role to collect the trophies?
Because I reckon he will get enough game time in the season to justify him staying at the club. I honestly think so.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. We've got a couple of super chats. Jonas Kamara says, haha, grown man crying after chatting last week.